3. Issues of the day from T-Radar's point of view. Joining us this morning. Morning, T-Radar.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad. We're getting pretty close to the end of the year. Pretty close to Christmas. Got all your shopping sorted, all your prezzies done?
No, I like to leave it to the last minute and sense that kind of delirious sort of euphoria that you get into when you find yourself in a mall surrounded by other people who've also left it to the last minute, inundated in the air department with Christmas carols and with an inability to find anything that you want. And
then you end up buying just the most rubbishy things for people.
I'm not a great shopper. I know people who start shopping even before Christmas is over for the next Christmas.
Yeah. It's like those people who do the whole Crisco hamper thing, or the equivalent.
Yes, that's right. A lot of people do that, and a lot of sort of controversy over that. I think they were taken to court again last week, and there's that whole kind of sense of, if you were to go out and do it yourself, you save money, but then you have to go out and do it yourself, and maybe some people are quite happy to let other people shop for them.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I saw something or heard something advertised the other day on the wireless. You could go to like sort of the Westfield website, I think it was, and you could type in the people, and it would choose presents for you.
No, we're just based on the name and the.
Well, no, I think you have to sort of say, well, it's a girl and she's 7, and I'm not really sure. It's not something I thought I wanted to do.
No, not very cool. Maybe the perfect present might be a XXX domain this Christmas.
Look, it could be for those people out there who have websites, perhaps for businesses or personal usage, and you think, I've got my domain name sorted out. Well, the XXX ones are out now. And you think, I don't want to go into that area, because they're obviously designed to sort of, I guess, clean up the internet and to sort of put the pornography and the smut into a certain area. But of course, you've got people like who Trade Me and everyone like that rushing out and buying their XXX domain, because you don't want to suddenly find out that people are looking to go, who's Wammo been talking to today? And they've accidentally typed in Wammo.xxx and they've found something they weren't really expecting.
Yes, and thinking about that particular domain, that could be a particular domain that someone might want to buy for a XXX.
I would imagine so. Perhaps some kind of audio smut.
Maybe. Are you buying up your T-Radar? T-Radar.xxx.
I would just be really interested to see who was going to do anything with that. I can't imagine it would be overly popular.
Could be quite fun to splice together parts from your show to make it look like, something else, something untoward was up, perhaps.
Yes, they could. It's sort of a technique used a lot these days by American presidential campaigners. Taking things out of context. There was a great one with Obama the other day where he was quoting, I think, McCain, and they took him saying a certain phrase and put him in an ad and going, look, he hates America. And you went, if you watched the whole clip, you went, no, he doesn't. No. So that kind of ad is sort of prevalent over there in the States at the moment with their campaign. Look, and if anyone wants to sort of feel a little bit glum and depressed about the state of the world, just watch the American or read about the American Republican presidential debates. They are, without a doubt, some of the most glum-inducing pieces of television I think I've seen in quite a long time.
Yeah, but let's be fair. I mean, there's really no this time round contender against Obama, so it's more of an entertainment sideshow, surely.
Well, it's a sideshow with a rather sort of depressing underlying theme. Most of them came out the other day and supported torture. Newt Gingrich has come out and said he doesn't think Palestinians actually exist as a people. They're made up and sort of oddly fictitious. So it's a worrying sort of thing. What they want, I think, is to have the debates and use them in the same manner that David Cameron, who's the British Prime Minister, does. He's just come out and they've had a strong reaction against the EU because, of course, all of that's falling apart as well in this time of good cheer. And what he does is he does all of his debating and his speech making. If he's got an enormous speech to do on a full bladder.
Really?
He says it hones him up and it makes him sharper.
Oh, no, I'd have to know. Before I was going to speak in Parliament, I'd have to rush off to the loo. No.
Yes, well, no, he says it was first Enoch Powell who did that sort of famous Rivers of Blood speech, obviously taking the metaphor further, didn't want a river of anything else. And he says what you do is you don't decrease the tension. In fact, if anything, you try to increase it. But of course, the problem with this is, and there was a study that came out of Australia recently that won one of the Ig Nobel awards, was that it says that if you do have a full bladder, it's the same as having had a couple of alcoholic beverages, particularly when driving, can be quite distracting. So of course, people are now wondering whether or not this whole leave the EU sort of to themselves thing might not have been a wise sort of idea.
Do you find, though, let's say you're driving with the full bladder, but you know you're on your way home, and so you know how far away, maybe there's a few traffic lights in between and whatnot, but do you...
And you will hit them all.
Yeah, exactly. But do you find that you always reach sort of just in time, It's like your brain sort of knows exactly sort of how far, and then it's just a nice, good time just as you hit the loop.
Yes, but God forbid there should be someone else there when you get home.
Indeed.
That's one of Dante's 7 layers of hell, I think. The worst one is, it occasionally happens where you think, I'm just not going to make it. And often, a dearth of public toilets around, and you think, you don't want to just sort of hop out of your car, particularly, I suspect, if you're a lady driver. So, yes,
yeah.
Not good. Not good for anyone at all.
Straight out to the tomato plants if there was someone in the loop. Right.
Straight out, or the lemon tree.
Yes, that's right. Staying with a bit of politics, though, the situation in Russia looks like a lot of protests against Putin, and I hear that there's a billionaire that's going to run against Putin next year, but he's not going to relinquish power, is he?
No, Putin, I think, has got a sort of fists firmly clenched around the power throat of Russia, and been a huge amount of dissent over there for all number of reasons, leading to the absurd sort of situation where clapping has been banned in some places, and I think somewhere someone was banned from breathing. They were going to go and do a sort of a breathing exercise in a protest, and that was said, you couldn't even go out and breathe in public. So it's as we sit down here with our election decided and maybe a judicial recount to see whether or not Paula Bennett gets in and all of that, we're thinking, oh look, there we go, the triumph of democracy. Around the world, things are not looking too good. Except
that we do have idiots, of course. The Conservative MP who said something foolish on his Facebook wall this week.
Yes, Kevin Campbell used to be a member of ACT. I'm not sure if he's been through New Zealand First or not, but then became one of the Conservatives. Talking about Mojo Mathis, our first deaf MP, I think the world's fifth, said he didn't think she should be an MP because she doesn't have all of her faculties. Yeah. He very quickly realised, I suspect he was told in no uncertain terms by a large number of people that this wasn't perhaps the best thing he could have said, and he has come out and said that he's goofed and that he has apologised. But it will be nice to see the sign language actually in Parliament now, along with Māori, to the translation.
Well, I wonder if they'll get the sign language guy. What's his name, who was doing the earthquake sign language when people were talking at the press conferences there. I mean, he's a bit of a superstar now.
Yes, that's right. Australians do it a lot. I think I first realised it when they were having all of those storms, and then in the background of the sort of people's press interviews, there was someone signing, and we've had them at a couple of conferences, and during the comedy festival, occasionally we have a signer on one of the nights, which leads, of course, to no end of fun. Except to see how they sign some of the phrases.
Indeed, and talking about gaffes, though, it looks like the BBC have made a bit of a mistake with their Frozen Planet program that I don't think it's screened here yet, but a lot of talk about this.
Yes, it's one of those things you do when you're making television. You think, we need a shot of something, and we can't go and capture it in the wild. And so what they did was they filmed some footage of a newborn polar cub in a park, rather than actually in the wild.
Right.
People assumed it was in the wild and went, oh, look at this, what a wonderful piece of footage. It's one of those things, I guess people don't really like that little bit of deception. It happens probably more often than people know. I always like it in radio. I find it, if you're recording a bit of radio and you think, I forgot to do a link out on that street over there in France, and so you go, you just go and do it on the street in Ponsonby.
Smoke and mirrors.
But is it the same thing?
Well, yeah, maybe. But maybe it's also a sign of the times that they had to film a polar bear cub in captivity because, due to climate change, there are no polar bears out there anymore.
Well, that's right, yes, or they're becoming increasingly far-flung. The ice is sort of melting, and the odd irony of that, with the ice melting at the moment is drillers and explorers for minerals are over the moon at the moment because the Arctic ice shelf is melting and they can get further and further in to drill for more oil and minerals. thus, possibly leading to something that will deplete the ice even further.
Well, they're saying the North Pole ice-free in some summers coming ahead, so yeah, that's pretty
Outrageous.
scary.
The North will no longer have a white Christmas.
No. What will Santa do? No home up there. He'll have he may have to go to the South Pole for home.
Exactly.
T-Radar.
The Alps could survive at the South Pole. We'll speak again next week. Hopefully times will have moved on and we'll be leading up to a slightly happier Christmas.
We'll be feeling very festive, no doubt. Thanks. See you then.